Everything is shut down. Every shopping place. Okay. Om Tamiva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Shakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvang Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, you art my mother, you art my father, you are my friend, and you are my philosopher. You are the wisdom, Tamiva Dravinam, and you are my heart's beloved. We salute you. Om, peace, peace, peace. We were again today on the Bhakti Sutra of Narada, Narada's way of divine love. And we were reading verse number 27. These few verses are talking about that Bhakti's goal of human life is to attain Bhakti, devotion. And that devotion, what devotion? It is such a devotion, it is much higher than that of karma, and it is greater than that of yoga, and that is better than that of jnana. But it's a confusion, we have discussed it. We must not conflict because we are reading the Bhakti. To eulogize Bhakti, they say Bhakti is the highest. But here Bhakti does not mean that the ritualistic Bhakti we do, but it is the attainment of Bhakti, where you lose your identity in the beloved. That means you become absorbed and totally intoxicated in the love of the beloved, where you become your beloved. You have no special identity, you lose your ego. So that is surely higher than that of our intellectual cogitation or doing some karma with the spirit, because mind is still dwelling here. But that is a state where mind has merged with the divine together. So that's the highest goal and achievement of life. So that way, karma is a path. The yogas are all path. But here they are talking about, though bhakti is a path, but bhakti's goal is bhakti. What is the goal of bhakti? Bhakti. The end result of spiritual practice of bhakti is to attain bhakti. That's called the para bhakti, the supreme love and supreme spirituality. Now we have read that 26th verse told us that bhakti is the ultimate end and goal, we say, because bhakti is the journey, and to the path of bhakti you reach bhakti. So karma, we say karma. Karma is a path which leads us to purification of the mind. As if karma is one thing and mind is something, by purification is happening there. But according to Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti practice itself you are doing is leading you to Bhakti. So that's why this Bhakti is the highest. And now 27th verse we have read that also, which says that Ishvarasopi Abhimanu Desitvat, because in this Bhakti leads to the final realization. This is greatest path. Why? Because in this the devotee loses his ego down to zero. His ego becomes egoless. And God likes that egolessness. That's why we read, Ishvarasovi Obhimano Desitvat. God does not like arrogant, egocentric person. Ahankar vimurhatma karta ahamit mannate. Those who are deluded, they by their ego, they think I am somebody, I am the doer, I am the knower. So it is said that God does not like, and also He loves who is very humble. But another meaning is there, then God is partial. If you say God loves who is humble, but he does not like it, hates who has arrogance, we are all God's children. So God should not do like that. Then He becomes like us. Well, no. Though He is beyond this love and hatred, but what happens? He appears to be arrogant, or the people with ego could not understand the intensity and end result of love. In what God is giving, God's grace can give. Ego does not allow us. Ramakrishna said, then water falls from the sky, but when it is a mountain, the water falls over the mountain. But water cannot be retained on the mountain because it comes down, because his ego is too high. But where it goes, where it is low, the water accumulates there. So God's grace accumulates to a humble person. So that is the sense. Though God's grace is the same, but a person with arrogance and ego have no capability to understand that. Though it is there, but he cannot retain it. It drifts down. Duryodhana, when seeing Krishna was kind, Krishna showed the cosmic form to Arjuna. And it is hard that Krishna also showed that cosmic form to Duryodhana. But Duryodhana said, it is your magic. You are showing me some magicians is a trick. Magicians show some trick. You are also showing me some trick. My wife can do much more tricks. Duryodhana said like that to Krishna. But seeing the same cosmic glory of the Lord, that in the stars and galaxies all are in his body. All the mountain, whatever you see in the earth, it's all in a part of his body, in his mouth, the whole army and everything is like, they are like food grains waiting in between the teeth. Big warrior you are worried about, they are like this. That means seeing the glory of God, but his arrogance, ego, didn't allow him to understand that God is what is God and what is Krishna is. So that is the thing this verse 27 taught us, that God loves that egoless person and hates who has arrogance and ego. That's why we are reading that, and I will read most of the part, but we left a little part that we'll read today. That's on page 72. It is said, that let me go a little early, page 71. God dislikes egotism means that as long as we have egotism and vanity, God remains hidden or covered within us. Remains here, but does not manifest. The man of God who has attained this supreme love transcends ego consciousness. And those who are really bhakti, their ego, what you call Nag Mahashaya. Nag Mahashaya's ego, 0, 0, 0. It is said that Mahamaya, the cosmic mother, wanted to bound two people. One is Vivekananda, another is Nag Mahasaya. When it went to take a rope and bind Mahamaya, binding Vivekananda, he became, I am that, I am that. He becomes big and bigger. So mother is bringing more rope. By that time he becomes more. So mother failed there, because he became one with the infinite. And Nag Mahasaya says, I am nothing, I am nothing. So he becomes so narrow, so small, so small. And mother is bringing another finer thread, but he passes through the that knot of the thread. So he is not caught. So both are beyond Maya. So see, Nag Mahasa is the example of a bhakta. So uh, in the Upanishad also, we read the story of a man of realization becomes Nativadi. That is, he becomes humble and does not assert himself. There is a prayer, Chaitanya's prayer, we do every morning. Be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. To take no honor to thyself. Give honor to all. Chant unceasingly. These are the things in our prayer, Chaitanya's prayer. And he also given from the Christian mystics statement, Psalm, in the Psalm book of Psalm, it is said that him that hath an high look and proud heart will not I suffer. And the Proverbs also say, everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Hmm. Now Peter also said, Peter says, God resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble. Exactly same idea. Sri Krishna, describing the demoniac tendencies of man, says that conceited, haughty, and foolish, proud, these malignant creatures are full of egotism, vanity, and wrath. And what I do, I cast them back again and again into the womb of degraded parents, subjecting them to the will of birth and death. Aham tvam ki asuring yonimapanna. Janmani janmani. In life after life, they take they receive a body of asura. Asura means what? No, Sura means God. Asura, opposite of that. They are demon. Who are demon? Demon does not mean really demon looking people here according to Vedanta. Demon is who has the body identity. Me, mine, I, you. That means ego centered. This does not, however, mean, as I have said, that these are lost forever. Those who are really have ego now, they will not be able to be a devotee. It's not like that. God withholds his grace from them. And as if God's grace is there, as if we withhold. That means when he is ready, ego is free, then he can understand that. It is withhold for, say, your grant is withhold. Nah. That means it is granted, but it is withhold for some reason. And some obstacle is there. If that goes, the grant will be given to you. Suppose in your researches, you say that a grant is, I know that they are withholding the grant. But grant is dedicated to that purpose, but still it is not given. There is some obstacle. What is the obstacle in our spiritual life? The ego. It is true, it is the ego that keeps them blinded. It is true that both experiences of happiness and misery in life are great teachers, but misery is sometimes a greater teacher. For when a man is in the depths of misery and finds no way out, then it is that he turns towards God, knowing that God alone is the refuge. In our life, of course, you see on all our experiences, when you turn towards God, when ultimately you find that you are helpless, situation makes you helpless.
Still, you need the ego to say, I will attend God.
That's true. But when you turn towards God, I will love God. Those who can do in any moment turn their mind in God, they are good people. They are more spiritual people. But suppose a person is very much heavily engaged in world and worldliness and money and wealth and ego and pride going on, if some calamity happens, no, they suddenly stop and then question, oh Lord, no. So sometimes in life, suffering and misery is a greater teacher, and it helps us to understand the futility of our pride, our ego, because they don't ultimately lead us to freedom, and it fails to give us the peace we want. So sometimes that's why mm, these failures and frustrations, they are our leaders. They lead us to the path of. But if he is not ready, he may go to depression. To a person of right type of understanding, is a good person who is pure soul, fallen into some difficulty, you will see that they go towards God more. So that is the way to think, and that means you take refuge in God. And when you take refuge in God, that you are progressing in spiritual life, and that is the goal of our life. God is not partial to anyone, just I referred them. Nor does he withhold his grace for any. But as Sri Ramakrishna says, on his high ground, rainwater does not accumulate. Accumulation, similarly, the grace of God is not felt by a proud man who has a high look, high nose, not what you say.
Obnoxious.
No, what you say? What is the language? And the nose high. People say obnoxious. 45 degree. So God, that means it is you will find that for spirituality, at least this is necessary. In the world, there may be some place of its, but you need not be actually so behaving in such a way that people take advantage of you. That should not be. But for God, in the house of God, we should always be humbled. By your wish, O Lord, it is happening. My ego is ego what? Because of you. You are behind me. That's why I'm proud. If you have to be proud, we say, hey, I'm a proud. I'm a child of Ramakrishna. Huh? I'm a child of Holy Mother. And be proud on that. When Sri Krishna describes how he subjects those of demonic nature to the will of birth and death, so that they may learn to devote themselves to him, he is not contradicting himself. Because in other places he says, my face is equal to all creation, loving one, no one, not hating anyone. Gita says, no, na datte kasyachit papam, na chaiva sukritam vibhu, ajnanena vritam jantur. It is, I don't give any special blessing to anyone. I don't take away, I don't give any malice to anyone. But Ajnanena avritam jantu, those people who are abrito, covered in ignorance, they think that God gives me this, God gives me that. But I am always open to all. Gita says, I am equal to all. To high or low, good or bad, I am all equal. But they don't understand me because their mind is not, egotistic mind does not allow them. Like I give the common example, it is a hot summer, or you want to get the cool breeze. The fan is continuously rotating, and but to feel the cool air, what am I to do? You have to go close to God, no? Close to the fan. Then you can feel that, yes. But if I am staying away, mentally, even mentally, you see, you are thinking something else. Cool air is on your head, but you don't understand it is cooling. You don't feel the cooling sensation. Being there and you don't understand. That means the mind.
But if you're anxious or something, you feel like hot and your head is.
Yeah, that's true. When you're Anxiety, true. Anxiety, worries, tension, very, very panicky situation. No, even you are safe within a home, under a situation where it is cool and comfortable. But mind is so disturbed, you are so restless, you are not recognizing the environment, the sweet environment in which you are there. So it is all depends on mind. Mind should be egoless. That is the anyhow. That is the now today I will read this verse. It is called but how to reach this bhakti? How to do this? There are many teachers gave many definitions, but this is another definition. One definition is that if you are egoless, then you will reach bhakti. Just we read down. Now here says how to reach this bhakti. Bhakti you cannot reach. First you should be Gyani, then you become a Bhakta. Gyani turns into a Bhakti. Knower of knowledge can be a real Bhakta. Swami Turiyananda, he was a real Bhakta because he knows who he is loving. Not this, not this, not this, I am infinite. No? Jnanam. This verse says, Tasya. Tasya means of this bhakti. Jnanam eva sadhanam. Sadhana, spiritual practice. What is the spiritual practice? To be a bhakta. Jnanam eva. You are to discrimination, path, follow the path of discrimination. Iti eke. There are so many opinions. Some sages, some schools of thought, they say that you cannot be a bhakta unless you have the analytical understanding, following the path of jnana. That's what jnana teaches. Jnana teaches reject everything. Not this, not this. Why not this? Because this is not the ultimate truth. This is not the highest. This is not the best. So give up, give up, give up, give up, give up. Detachment, detachment, renunciation, renunciation. And then you know whom you love. He is precious, he is infinite. So no one can love anything unless to his or her mind it appears what I love is the highest. This is the best. I can reject others, but I cannot reject this. Suppose someone gets a job. It may not be high paying, but it pleases his sentiment, his moods, his work situation, all favors. Values, so much values. He can give up a better offer and cling on to that. So that is his love for that type of job or that type of work situation. No? So some also say, one is that bhakti, you follow the path of bhakti, you reach bhakti. That is the one, some opinion is like that. And here Narada is a very like Vedantic student. No? He gives different opinions and he will tell ultimately what he thinks. So here he says that you are to be following the path of bhakti to attain bhakti, so you will be practicing jnana path. Meaning that you have to know whom you are loving. Is it the highest? Is it the flawless? Is it the pure? Is it the ultimate goal which you can attain? Then you strive for that love. A boy loves a girl or a girl loves a boy. When they love each other, they feel that this is the best. Everyone looks at the beloved. Oh, his eyes are so good. Nose is so nice. His eyebrow. So everything is good. In the romantic mind, everything is good. Everything is good. So that's why if you say, hey, why are you so attached to this guy? You say, go to the other people. You can have a better person. They say, no, you do not know. There is no one parallel to that. You see, it is normal experience. People talk about that. Say Ramanuja's life story. There is one boy and one girl. They fell in love, and they came into Ramanuja's ashrama. And the ashrama is a festivity going on. I told you before, a festivity going on, and there is bhajan, there is singing, there is arati going on, puja going on, and food offering is going on. People are eating and enjoying, no? And this guy, this boy and girl, they are sitting here gossiping, gossiping, gossiping. Ah, they have no other attention. What is going on in the entire ceremonial place? They are only talking to each other and they are very happy there. So Ramanuja asked them, hey, what is the matter? You are not enjoying and participating in anything? Now, what is the secret? Tell me, why are you so much attached? They said, oh, I am attached to his beautiful eyes. Then Ramanuja said, is it so? Yeah, so beautiful. If I can show you better eyes, much better than you are seeing, beautiful eyes, I can show you much beautiful eyes. Then will you give up this? Well, no, it cannot be. In the world, there cannot be any beautiful eyes more than the beauty of this, my friend. Huh? Similarly, so he said, why do you, the boy is asked, why do you love this girl so much? Oh, you do not know. Her voice is so sweet, her this and that. Her picture is so good. I like that. I can show you better picture of the. Well, no, no, no. You old man, you sadhu, you don't understand. Huh? There cannot be anyone like this much beauty. Okay? Then he said, okay, okay. Acha. So condition. If you find someone higher than this, then you will have to accept that and you will reject it. You will have to give up. It is impossible. There is no other beauty parallel to this beauty, no other sweet face like that face. Okay. And then he said, okay, Ramanu said, okay, now afternoon is coming and evening, we'll have evening vesper. When you vesper, evening vesper, you come. When I stand, you come to me. And Arati started. Eh? And that boy came and the girl came. They said, Ramanuja said that, hey, look at the eyes. The Krishna is being waved like we do the Rama Krishna Arati. So they are doing, and as soon as Ramanuja pointed out to the eyes of Krishna and says, look. And he saw such charming eyes. Totally heart is totally soothed and fulfilled. Because my great souls can show you the divine. And the girl, he said, look. He saw the beauty of the luster of Krishna. It's Rangaraj. See Krishna. Krishna is another form. So, and then they are overwhelmed. And they fell at the feet of each one. And then they wanted to renounce. Because it was the contract. But Ramanuj said, okay, no, you will not renounce, but you will marry. I'll make you marry together. And you will live like a renouncing life. You love Krishna and serve Krishna both, forgetting yourself. So this is the point. So this, when the attraction comes, people forget, and you know the glory, then you can love more. So the Jnanopath here is mentioned. When you know that there is no higher truth than that of God, there is no higher joy than being absorbed in God. There is no higher peace which one can get in loving God and absorbed. That mood will come after purifying your mind. That's why it says, Jnanam eva tasya sadhanam. It says, some are of the opinion, some of the saints of the school of thought, they say that knowledge is the means to attain bhakti. Knowledge is the means to attain bhakti. Real bhakta, not the practicing bhakti, ritualistic bhakti, but real genuine bhakta. Who can be genuine bhakta? According to this verse, that knowledge is the means. Those who have analyzed their mind and understood the right and wrong and analyzed that Brahman is the highest and Brahman is taking the form of Krishna, therefore is the embodiment of Krishna. And then their love becomes genuine. Here, page number 73, verse number 28. Here, of course, knowledge does not refer to the illumined knowledge of God. Intellectual. First, you know, as see this couple who are talking about what is the Hemamba and another name of the wife, the girl is Hemamba and the boy's name is something I forgot. So they totally got transformed after this knowledge that there is something. Not that they are seeing them all the time. By the grace of Ramanuja, once he showed him something extraordinary that gives a glimpse that God is so beautiful, God is so charming. So, in comparison to that, everything is insipid. It is meaningless. It has no value. So, knowing that knowledge, not the knowledge that he has gone, that I am that experience they have reached. Intuitional or analytical practice, when one is doing that, then it will be the supreme devotion. It will lead to the supreme devotion. Supreme devotion is, you look at that, who fall in love with God totally, supreme devotion has happened. They are Gyanis because the Gyana means what? Gyana means not dry intellectualism. Gyana means that you understand Satchidananda is the ultimate truth and you can renounce everything. Viveka Vairagya. Four means of Jnana Jagana. Viveka, first analyze, unreal, real is the one path. Second point, what is unreal? Throw away. Vairagya, detach, Vairagya. Viveka Vairagya. And then collect all these good qualities. Self-control, mental control, samadhama. Endurance, titiksha, upurati, withdrawing the mind from sensory distractions. Samadhama, titiksha, upurati. Shraddha, have faith in yourself and faith that God will show me grace. This faith, both ways, in yourself and in God, or in Guru's word, or in the scripture's word. So, Shraddha and Samadhan. Samadhan means the seeing the eye of equanimity, try to see everything. No? Then mokshatta. Then you want to be free. These are the jnana sadhana. No? Viveka, vairagya, samadhi, saraka sampatti, mumukshattani. You have read in Vedanta Sara and in Vivek Chudamani also you will find that. So these are called the sadhana of the jnana. So if one is practicing these four for a long time, then what will happen? They will understand God is the ultimate goal. Then God is saguna or God is nirguna. But if they turn to saguna, then their love becomes very deep. And this is a sadhana. That means a path of following a path of knowledge, that is also a bhakti sadhana. Bhakti means love. So intense love grows because of this knowledge. Knowledge here means understanding of the reason why we need to pray or devote ourselves to God. There has to be some knowledge of the goal we wish to attain and of some idea or ideal of God. Unless we know anything, that is the highest goal, that is the idea we want to wish this knowledge to attain, then our love for practice will not come. We cannot release the love. Suppose young people run for what? Whatever they are dancing, singing, going on, they are attracted. Why? They find immediate some joy. Either they've experienced or they were heard. By that way, they fall in love with those. So similarly for God, who will go there unless this background of viveka, vairagya, samadhi, sataka sampatti, and the idea of liberation, I want to be free, that idea dawns in them. How in God alone there is fulfillment of life. So unless there has to be some knowledge of the goal we wish to attain and of some ideal or ideal of God, and how in God alone there is fulfillment, total fulfillment. Unless we know, why shall I spend my life? Suppose we are all fools. Why the sadhus give up a home and hearth and home and go to the forest or live in a wandering life? Why? They know that there is something, intellectually knows, I will attain that love, intoxicating love. In comparison to that, this worldly thing is nothing. At least that much knowledge should be in the mind. Otherwise, he cannot follow the path. So, for bhakta, for even bhakta who are living in the household life, they could use their life in fun and merriment. Why they will spend their time in God? Why they will think of morning meditation, chanting the name? Goal before you, unless you know that achieving that goal, this is the path I am following. So Buddha mentioned, that's why it is called Buddha mentioned, quote, right understanding as the first step in his eightfold noble path to reach nirvana. So that means this is the path that you lead in this way to prepare yourself for proper bhakti, proper intense attraction to reach. In the cloud of unknowing, that book, we read what is there? Quote, prayer may not goodly be gotten in beginners or proficients without thinking before. Well, that's why our prayer is not become very attractive to us. We pray like a parrot. But if we pray feeling that I am talking to Ramakrishna, I am praying to Mother, Mother is here and she is listening. She is the highest. She can give it. You don't go to a beggar to ask for $1,000, one lakh, $1 million. No? You go to a person who has the power to give. You have that conviction. You go with an application to someone. For what? Who can give you that? That means he has plenty of it. So you should know that you are going to God who can give you eternal joy, eternal peace. This knowledge, you must have to have it. Otherwise, you cannot grow in devotion. So that's why the cloud of the unknowing, it says, prayer may not goodly be gotten. In old English, that prayer may not be gotten goodly in beginners. We are the beginner. It cannot be got. Why? Without thinking before. Before you think that here is the treasury and I can get this, whatever I want, and God can give me this. He is the highest. So this knowledge should be your precondition to get any benefit. The faculty quotents, the faculty of reason has an important place in spiritual life. Though vain arguments must be avoided by aspirant. Bhaktas don't like too much argument. But this is necessary. This must reason-based love. The love becomes really stable when there is a rationality behind that. They understand each other much clearly. That's understanding. Understanding comes because of the knowledge. Understanding, if the knowledge is not there, someone is married, I heard that then he's very sweet outside, and after marriage, he is, what is called? twisting the arm of that girl and beating and doing this. That love, he didn't know. Another place I heard that one guy married a girl with false hair. So, are you will live with her. What is the use of hiding that? And nowadays, even seven head is not bad. In the top executives and others, they use it. Trend has changed. But he was hiding that way. And after marriage, it became a source of, that means not knowing that it is a false hair, looking like beautiful hair. So this is knowledge.
Takes all the
Yeah. Say someone say maybe all teeth gone and showing teeth. And then when you know, how can you love that guy anymore? So this is the point. Not knowing creates trouble. And knowingly you can love that. Okay, he has the bald head. Okay, I love him. That's okay. But you think that you are cheated. So this is the point. That is knowledge can give love. If ignorance can create trouble.
They
So-
say that the jalebi, you have to fry and soak in sweet syrup. So then the jalebi is the prepared sweet of Sri Ramakrishna. That will fry in the knowledge and soak in devotion.
Oh, yeah. Again, that will come. That will come. In this next verse, we'll say that Jnana Mishra Bhakti, they will say. So, this faculty of reason has an important place in the spiritual life. The vain arguments must be avoided by aspirants. Bhaktas don't like to day and night. You know, we also like Vedanta, but you may not like that Vedanta where they go too much logical analysis. Very much logical analysis will disturb you so much that what they are talking about, what is the mean, why it is making so complicated, because we are always reading Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, who are talking about the highest experience in simple language. So it should be very careful to not to go too far where you get bored with the critical, what do you call, analytical arguments.
every day is snake and rope.
Eh?
Every day. talking
Every day
about
making
snake-
rope.
snake
That's
and
true.
rope.
That's true. 28 verse. I read from this book of Swami Tyagishananda Maharaj. What he says, Shankaracharya emphasizes the function of the intellect in attaining the highest realization and subordinates other functions to it. Because Shankara is a propounder of Vedanta philosophy, he emphasizes Jnana is the only way. Bhakti is for the emotional thing. And that emotional thing does not stay long. Unless it is grounded with knowledge. No? Emotionalism, emotional people, this moment is high, that moment is down. No. But emotion guided by reason, then they'll be stable people. So that's why Shankaracharya emphasizes the function of the intellect in attaining the highest realization. Well, Shankara says, use your brain, analyze what is permanent, what is impermanent, day and night. Is it the reality or is it just momentary experience you are going through? As the time changes, moment changes, mind changes, is your the world view changes. No. In fact, all the darsana means philosophies, except perhaps the Purva Mimamsa. Purva Mimamsa means the ritualistic, sacrificial part, promises mukti only to those who have clear vision of truth. Almost all the world religion teaches that goal is God realization, ultimate goal. Quote, Christ says what? Thou shalt know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So you have to know the truth. That means you have to separate out what is untruth. So it is indicating that you follow the path of analysis or knowledge. quoted, Buddha makes right understanding the first of his eightfold noble path. What is the eightfold? Uh, right living, right thinking, right thinking. Right thinking means don't think wrong. When wrong comes, you say it is wrong. This is right. First point, yes, Buddha has said right thinking, right living, right talking, right everything, right. Eightfold noble path, Buddha's path. And the joins, they also include right knowledge in their Ratnatraya or triple panacea for the cure of samsara. Jain group of devotees, Jainism, they suggest that right knowledge, you should have a right knowledge, R capital knowledge is K capital. Right knowledge in their book of scripture, which is the name is Triple Panacea. For curing from samsara, you want to get out of the samsara, you have to follow this. There is no doubt that spiritual practice must begin naturally with thinking about what we have to attain and knowing that means to attain it. First, you know where you have to go, and then you have to know what process you will follow. So, these two things are necessary. That is the reason why every system of religion insists upon some sort of scriptural study under some teacher. That's why you read the scriptures? To clear your understanding. So all the scriptures or all paths that you have to study the scripture under and true guide. Otherwise, those who don't understand, they will misinterpret. That will create more clouded understanding. Even to love God or to practice virtue, some kind of previous thought and knowledge is essential. Thus, Walter Hilton, the Christian mystic, says, what he says, quote, when thou goest about to pray, first make and frame betwixt thee and God a full purpose and intention. That means when you are first going to God or for praying, you first do one thing to create a relationship, you and God, and the purpose. Why are you connecting this? Just first decide, then you move. Then begin and do as well as thou canst. That means then you begin your sadhana, spiritual practice, and which you cannot do now, but you can do then. The Cloud of the Unknowing, a Christian treatise on mysticism, it says, prayer may not goodly be gotten in beginner or proficiency without thinking coming before. That's a very much popular mystic book, Cloud of the Unknown. Many sadhus have read it. Previously, it was a very good reading for the words is also Cloud of Unknowing, unknowing the cloud. All medieval Christian theologians and mystics emphasize that steady and methodic thought must precede any spiritual practice. Any spiritual practice, even the Christians, not for Vedanta we are talking only, but he is putting these examples. He says that Saint Teresa harps on the supreme need for, quote, a recollecting the mind. That means Saint Teresa is saying, you do anything, you recollect the mind. That means analyze and find what is highest. That is, what does it mean? Collecting the scattered thoughts and concentrating the intellect on the business in hand. So, it's a mystic book and mystic Saint Teresa. He is also emphasizing. This emphasis on the reasoning faculty is surely not out of place, for there are some who disparage reason on the strength of Kathopanishad and Brahma Sutras. But these authorities only tell us that mere reasoning, independent of other functions of the mind and of help got from the experience of others, may not lead to the highest. If it is only merely intellectual knowledge, it is only reasoning, if there is no functional practice of the mind to concentrate, and you are not connected with the got from the experienced teacher, that will not lead you highest. That means you have to go to a good teacher. What he is saying, he knows what he is saying. Huh? That type of person, a person of wisdom, person of knowledge, go to that, and then and got from the experience of other reading such things, and to tell that it is not mere reasoning, but what they are saying. The person who is saying, his face will show that he is talking what he understands. So if we get these ideas, then spiritual practice become easy. But surely there is no sense in believing that one should leave one's brain behind. Immediately one turns towards God. No one can go towards God runningly. That's why after some days the emotion goes away, their intensity goes down. But if you have accepted the path with knowledge and wisdom and analyzing their pros and cons, then that becomes a deeper practice. It is indeed true that all mental powers must be transcended before one realizes the highest. The soul must indeed outstrip its instruments in its flight towards God, especially during the last stages of the quest, where it is a flight of alone to the alone. When you deepen your spiritual life, you cannot keep your friendship with 20 friends and talking and gossiping and this and that. You become withdrawn and withdrawn and withdrawn. And a point comes when you live alone with the alone. Alone is the Lord, capital alone, and you live with that alone. That means you tune yourself. All other things drops from the periphery. You look at that, all the saints, Ramakrishna is the greatest example. When he is intoxicated in God consciousness, where is his day? Where is his night? Where is his friend? Who is around? Who will take care of him? He has no concern of anything but alone with alone. Alone is the mother. He has his mother, divine mother. And he is the alone guy searching for mother. So that. But those who are still far from this stage will only be injuring themselves by trying to anticipate this moment. They say, you go further, much further, you can stay alone with alone. But I have not started my journey here. How shall I go there? So therefore, it will be hurting if we don't take the example of justifying the truth. What is the truth? What I want to get? Whether that is the highest or I'll be fooled. So that much conviction you have to do. That mental activity one should have to do. This stage can never be attained by mere annihilation or intelligence and reason. A particular seeker's view of the truth as experienced by him must be colored by the contents of the mind acquiring previously, the appreciative mass, as the psychologist would call. Therefore, it is always advantageous to have a reasonable idea of God to begin with. The worthier and purer our ideas of God arrived at by a proper use of the intellect, and purer, worthier, and truer our interpretations of our experience will be. That means, as much we are clear on our interpretation, understanding, that much love will grow. But we should take care not to mistake this for mere dry intellectualism. Always Vedanta also decries that, no? Vivekachudamani says that Bhagvaikari, Shabdajari, Sastra, Sabda, Sastra Vyakhanu Kaushalam. The art of explaining the scripture, speaking beautiful language to express the ideas of the scriptures, these are all good. This is not lead you to God realization unless you have love. This may make you scholar. It will give you some pleasure, intellectual pleasure. So that much, but not God realized. That means we should analyze these things, but not be a dry pandit. Simple thing. Don't be a dry pandit. In the university scholars, you go how much they study and they refer. If they write 1 page or 2 page, there will be about another page or 2 page reference. I was reading one, 2 pages writing about maybe another 2.5 pages references. So it's good. It has its own place, but it's intellectual joy. But we should not be needed to be like that. Those who scholars, let them be. But for finding joy inside, one should know God is my highest. Ramakrishna taught. God alone is the truth, no? All else is false. That's all. Hari Maharaj was studying Vedanta, and Ramakrishna said, what is in your Vedanta? No? Is there anything else? But this much, that God alone is real, and all else is false. This is the main analysis should end in this conclusion. So if that you can do, then you have finished whole chapter of logical. Previously, it was a concept that unless you are well established in logic, you cannot study Vedanta. Now, by God's grace, because of Ramakrishna Vivekananda, we are reading high-sounding Vedantic books. No, previously you had to go to a Pandit, and Pandit will not talk to you unless you have been successful in learning what you call the grammar very well. Grammar may take you 5 years, 10 years. Finish grammar, then you come to Vedanta. Naya. Naya Vedanta, no? So Purva Mimamsa, Naya, then you understand what you are reading. So you have to know the grammar first. My God, had it been so, we would not come to Vedanta anymore. So, but Ramakrishna, all these scriptures are suggesting, you hold the key point of whole logic. Logic is God is the reality. Other thing is not permanent, impermanent, false. Have that knowledge, and now if it is permanent, God is real, try to reach Him. Love Him. Move on. Give up other things for God. Only that goal. As Narada points out later on in 74th Sutra, aphorism afterwards, the aspirant should not take delight in vain arguments and scholastic disputation for their own sake. The proper place for reason is provided for in spiritual practice by the insistence on reflection or manana. That is called Sravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So to reflect on that, is the world unreal? Is God the real? So dive deep. Is I am not the body? Is really I am not the body? Or I am the body? Deepen, 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 deepen. The Yoga Vasishta says that one should discard even the words of Brahma, if it is against reason. Bhagavan, after teaching Arjuna the whole Brahma Vidya, tells him at the end that he should understand it critically and then adopt such of the teachings as seem reasonable. That means Sri Krishna is suggesting you reason, try to understand, and then move on. Don't take blindfoldly. People may be emotionally taking some ideas. That's why they can't hold on. Many people go thinking, oh, this is good. It is like religion, shopkeeping of religion. You go to different shops to find out commodities. They are selling religious commodities. One school Vedanta, another school Bhakti, another school Jnana, another school Shaivism, Shaktism, this, that. And some is mantra yoga, this yoga, that yoga, that yoga. And people say, oh, this is good. I hear it. I will go. So you go there. And after some time you say, it doesn't, I don't find it. No? Because it is blindfold, we run towards something, not knowing what is the goal, what is the achievement, what I want, all this clarity. And then you decide, this is good, there are 20 things. What is the best for you? After analyzing, hold on to that and then move in that direction. So that is the suggestion here. Okay? Joimini Sutra, he says, and scholarly, this book is very scholarly, that's why he refers so many things. Thus we see how all our great teachers have given the highest place for reason in spiritual practice. But it is one thing to give it legitimate place in the scheme, and another thing is to say that reason alone is the means of attainment. If someone says reason alone reaches you, that's wrong. Reason can clarify the road, give away, set a direction. But then you have to move in that journey with love. Suppose if one sits and also in this computer and finds how to reach this particular location, which so many alternative ways, and then knowing, this is knowing, but he does not take his car out or never starts and have no intention to reach the goal, then this is only wastage of time. So spirituality becomes wastage of time. Okay, so we end here, Sutra 29, and we'll read the next verse 29 next day. 28 we have read today. Next verse, just what it will talk, just to say, let us find what it will teach us. 29. 29, it will say that mutual dependence. Tasya jnanameva sadhana. We have read this verse. It's jnana, knowledge or discrimination, is this path to lead to bhakti. Next verse will say, no. Bhakti, jnana should be interdependent. Unless you have knowledge, you have no devotion. Without devotion, you cannot have knowledge. They should be balancing each other. That's the Vedanta idea. You have a bhakti, you practice knowledge simultaneously and use these two tools together. Anna asrayatam. One other things that the various means or the faculties, they are interdependent. There's no that only jnana will take you and not the bhakti, or bhakti will take and not the jnana. These are not the opinions. Yes, okay. So
only one question. Due to foolishness, Himobindu asks, due to foolishness took hastily a very wrong decision to leave a holy organization. Now desperately wishes to live here, but don't know whether management allows me or not. What should I do, Swamiji?
I couldn't understand. Due to foolishness, took hastily a very wrong decision to leave a holy organization. Now desperately wishes to live here, but do not know whether the management allows me or not. What should I do? We go to any organization, for what purpose? To get my life's goal. You got the question. Question is that someone is saying that I foolishly took a hastily decision, a very wrong decision, that I leave this spiritual tradition. Suppose Vedanta, or suppose Hare Krishna, suppose some practice. Now, I desperately wish to live here. That means I want to come back. But don't know whether the management will accept me, because I left them, whether they will accept me or not. This is the question. I think the main thing to be understood, when we left, if it is genuine that that path is good for me, and I have left unknowingly, that I did a mistake, but I will then correct myself. But coming to an organization is not necessary. Take the ideal which is preached by that organization, like Vedanta. Vedanta organization, yes, management will take or not, it is in their hand. But you can go and tell them that was my mistake, I left it. And if they reconsider you, that will be the way to take you. And if you think that it is, they will not take, but you can live in your home where you are with your ideology. You love the ideal. Ideal is God realization. But one type of ashrama or environment which is congenial for you, you can follow that path in your own home. But normal advice will be that go back to them and tell that sorry, it is a mistake. I didn't understand that. Please, I want to come back. Give me another chance. I think that will be the simple thing. And if that does not work, then you are not in the street. You know God is with you all the time. So what path will suit you? You follow that path. Read the books, and there are many people not there can guide you in that direction. So this should be a realistic approach. And another is the humility aspect, that I really didn't understand that. That's why I left, but I have to come back. I think simple that. Okay, we end here. Then we'll start our class for the nectar of supreme knowledge at 7:30 p.m. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yes, I got a question from India. Somebody read that I tried to reach at 5 o'clock, but I didn't get it. Yes, because now the 1 hour difference has happened. It was 4:30, hour 4:30. Our time 4:30 means India time was 5 o'clock before, but only this Sunday it has changed. It has become 6. That means India time will be 6. Our time will be 4:30. Next time onward, if you want to attend this class, then you have to look for at 6 a.m. of your time. Okay, thank you. Next Tuesday, you can be there at 6 o'clock. You will get it then. Okay, it is a time change. Jai Thakur. Thank you. Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Eh?
She has gone.
What you want?